Alright, so welcome back to the channel. We are at everyone's favorite faux Italian restaurant, Olive Garden. We got some breadsticks and some soup coming our way.
And salad.
And salad. Well, he got the salad. Surprisingly, you, of all people, got the salad. I didn't take your salad basin. But you know, the one thing that annoys me about the salad here is that they really grease it up with what are they using? Like some sort of oil. It's not even olive oil. It's like something acidic, like
Italian dressing,
like vinaigrette.
I think.
I think it is vinaigrette.
Yeah, it's some sort of vinaigrette, I believe. And
I think we have the ability to ask shortly.
Because if the soup, we got a question.
I might have an answer.
So the salad, does it only come with one dressing, or could you get a different dressing if you wanted it?
Well, my options are Italian, mostly Italian, and regular.
Such a wide
I
variety.
know.
Totally.
We used to have
Yep.
Caesar, but then no.
Now, Texan, or I think it's like Texas Ranch or Southern Ranch or something like that, it's
It's like-
really sweet.
Is it?
That's really good. But it's a lot thicker, and it's like a red sauce. We got them breadsticks.
Yes, please.
Why am I not surprised you want cheese?
I mean, he is a very cheesy person.
This is true. That joke really wasn't all that very Gouda.
More cheese?
Oh, no.
We're just making cheese puns. Don't worry about it.
It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes they can be pretty good pies.
Pass for your other one?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Did you try it?
No, you didn't.
You didn't even give him a chance.
No.
I'll be back.
It was
with
that good.
another one.
All right.
Hey.
So, compare it to the IHOP. Because when we go to IHOP, we get the unlimited iced coffee, and we always end up having heart palpitations and thinking we're going to die from a heart attack
That's you.
afterwards. That is me. It is a horrible feeling afterwards, but
Not me, though.
when you during
yeah,
drinking,
no.
it's perfect.
I agree that it's a horrible feeling, but it takes a lot more than a little coffee to get it to me.
You and the tea. How is it every restaurant has like the same teapot? Like every restaurant we go to, you always order the same thing. You always order hot tea, and it comes in that strange little teapot.
Not every single one has the same one.
Most places do.
They're all similar, but they usually have minute differences. It's just a common model.
New
IKEA.
differences, huh?
Yeah. Usually it's based more on how long they've had them.
Ooh, they had these in there for a little while.
Yeah, I noticed. Toss me one, would you? Don't want to reach across.
By all means, good sir, take your breadstick and enjoy.
I will certainly try.
I don't know what it is. Okay, so the main company that owns this chain owns Olive Garden, Red Lobster, and Longhorn Steakhouse. Every one of them has a particular type of bread that's like unlimited, and they're all freaking amazing. Like, if I had to survive on bread and water, I definitely would love to have their bread. Because, you know what, if you think about it, at this price, okay, for just the soup and breadsticks, it's less than $5 if you stay with water. It's basically a privatized soup kitchen at that point. It's unlimited.
Yeah,
You can have as much as you want.
yeah. Most places you get 2 bowls and you've probably made your money with.
Where's your salad? How do you get your salad?
You're paying $3 extra.
Yeah.
My chicken's back with the tea.
What did you get?
The spicy sausage.
Yeah, spicy sausage. Too much for me, man.
I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I just can't do sausage in the soup.
I'm gonna go
The
for a
extra oils.
minestrone next. I'm gonna switch up all the soups. Each time I eat a soup, I'm gonna get a different one. I
So
might
cool.
try the spicy one.
It's so cool.
I will say this though. This is a really filling soup, this particular one. Got some crunch on that breadstick, which is unusual.
It's just, yeah, mostly just on the tip though. It's not too bad.
Just a tip.
Just
That's what she said.
PG said.
Maybe.
PG or PG-13?
And, well, honestly, it depends. Are we talking PG-13 like the Animaniacs, where they really skirted the line, but they did so in a way that no one would realize until you're older?
Yeah. I wonder what this would look like on VR. Let's have a toast.
And we can't do that.
We do have to wait.
Oh, that's right. You and your coffee. Your kofifi. Which I don't blame you because, what is it? Mocha and vanilla? What did you get?
Caramel.
Caramel. Ooh, caramel. Mocha, vanilla, and caramel would be an amazing combination.
Maybe.
Not even maybe. Just straight up awesome.
It's all about the balance, man.
Yeah. They balance pretty good.
Yeah, but I mean, like on the off chance the person who makes it doesn't balance it well, then
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, what was it? I have to have a syrup.
Yeah.
most places do it by a syrup,
You ever see?
but not all syrups are the same concentration.
True. You ever see how expensive those cold brew coffee makers are? Holy crikey!
You think about getting one?
They're several $100s. Or at least at Best Buy. I don't know. I haven't looked on Amazon. Here's the thing, though.
It also depends on which one you get, but yeah.
It's like having your own coffee maker at home is like being a drug addict and living with a drug dealer, or being an alcoholic and being your own bartender. Because if it's good,
awesome.
sounds like a really easy way to get injured, end up in the hospital.
No.
Like, I finally understand why decaf exists.
Not that there's much difference, honestly. It's a
Yeah,
few
because decaf
grams.
still has caffeine,
Yeah, it's
which I
only
think
a
is
few
such a
grams
misleading thing to say.
Well, I mean, it is decaffeinated, but
See,
only by a few grams.
Yeah, just by a very small extent. Oh no, we ran out of breadsticks. Whatever shall we do? I mean, that is like the main staple of this place is the breadsticks.
What will I dip in my soup?
Your spoon.
It's already there.
Well, there you go. Dip some tea into your soup. There you go. Okay, here's a good question. Up to 3 restaurants, Olive Garden, Red Lobster, and the Longhorn Steakhouse, which do you think has the best bread? They're all owned by the same parent company.
I refuse to answer under one simple premise. It's been literally ages since I've been to Red Lobster, and I don't think I've ever actually been to Longhorns. So, I've
You
not...
have not lived. There's something you need to
I've
get
lived
out
in
more.
different ways. Good sir.
I haven't been to Red Lobster in about 12 years.
I think mine's only about 8, but still.
Jeez, Red Lobster is like...
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's actually right next to us, too. It's literally closer to Olive Garden, and I've been to Olive Garden more than I've been to Red Lobster.
Cheddar Bay biscuits, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my god. So you guys have no idea what those breads taste like?
Nope.
Not at this point.
I think we found our future episodes. Because holy crikey, the bread is phenomenal. Dude, Cheddar Bay biscuit. Okay, you can buy the biscuit mix at Walmart now. It's nowhere near as good.
Usually the case.
Still pretty good, but nowhere near as good. Those biscuits make, like, when you're sitting there, it's like, okay, I've got an entree coming. I need to balance my biscuits for my entree. Here, it's
No
like,
one
well,
ever
the bread is part of the entree almost. Well, at least the way we're doing it. But see, if I had more money, I would be ordering the lobster ravioli here. Because
Yeah, you
that
mentioned.
is so good.
My grandma likes it.
Your grandma has it? Oh, my mom got it one time. She had it as leftovers. She said, I don't know if you're going to like it. And I tried it, and I fell in love with it. It was so good. You know, I know the soup is unlimited. A lot of things that are unlimited really aren't that great, but the unlimited soup and breadsticks here is truly a good value. The chicken is nice and tender. The soup is not scalding hot. It's
Some of that
definitely
might
hot.
also depend on when we come, because we come relatively consistently in time.
And that's true. So maybe the chicken has had more time to marinate or whatever you want to say in the broth, I guess you would call it.
Well, I mean, they've had time to whittle down, and that's where all the chicken tends to be at. Because, I mean, if you remember last time, we had huge chunks of chicken.
And what is it, the yoki or whatever? What is that? I feel like that's potato of some sort. But what are the
biscuits?
Yes. Thank you.
Here's a straw for you.
Okay. And,
can I get a minestrone?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
You seem to have lost Angie.
Possibly.
Oh well, not normally her table, so such a
True. Very good waitress, though. I will say that. She was fun to talk to.
Oh yeah. I told you, Mike, you can't scare her away.
Scare her. She saw you and she's like, "Oh my God, is that thing even human?"
it's Sam.
No, I look human, but I'm not. You don't look human, even though you are.
Yeah.
There's a
You know what?
difference.
For the camera, show him your special trick. Everyone, look at him for a second and show him your special trick. Oh, how's it going? Oh, you failed. You lost.
This one's heavier.
Okay, this one's heavier.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Sam.
Hey,
Do your special trick.
we have a different silverware.
Yeah.
Still working on it, guys. Sorry for the, I mean, you get the gist of it, probably, but
Well, I don't know. They've never seen it before. Let's see. Something metal enough.
that's gonna be too heavy.
metal enough to be able to levitate metal? Your silverware is too high quality.
It's too pure, I can't metal bend it. Yeah, all this stuff seems to be too heavy.
We'll have to save your super special silverware trick.
No, I got it.
Hey, there it is.
I just have to use 2 fingers.
It's not friction. Why don't you tell everyone what that is?
I mean, it's clearly not fiction. I'm leaning it over. But,
Well, friction.
yeah.
You said fiction.
I didn't
Slip of the
know
tongue.
this was a.
Anyway,
I didn't know this was a novel.
Well,
maybe it is.
Well, they don't know how the heck you just did that.
Yeah, I'm getting to it. So, about 6 months ago, I think, I've kind of lost track of how long ago it was, I went ahead and got 3 magnets implanted in my fingers. I don't know how well they'll show up on camera, but, like, you can't actually see them if I put my fingers close enough. Just look up magnetic finger implants and you'll be able to find plenty of information about it. At this point, I don't want to call it a fairly standard procedure, but it's fairly standardized. So, yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, but once again, you went through the entire coffee without letting me have a taste. I want to know what it tastes like.
This is some of the flavors.
Oh, it's
Take
it's
it
going to
out.
be so diluted.
No,
It's gonna be-
it gets diluted by the
Did you
ice.
drink out of the straw or did you drink out of the
Straw.
Okay. I'm not. No, it's totally diluted. It's like 90% water.
Didn't look like
That's
it.
not good. Next round. How many of these are you gonna have? You know, cold brew has more caffeine than hot brew. Don't have a heart attack, Mike.
I won't.
More
Alright, you're driving.
Sure. Holy shnikes doesn't stand a chance. I'll
So
bring more bread.
I switched over to minestrone. I told a different. Who could I just talk to?
Not me. It wasn't
Yeah.
me.
Okay, so
One of the other girls.
yeah, I just said minestrone.
That's okay. I'll make sure it comes out. Do you want cheese in the salad?
Sure.
I don't think we ever officially decided on a salad dressing. Because I remember we said it was Italian or
there's no
ranch.
dressing on there.
It's in there.
Man, I would go with ranch, to be honest.
I do both. I make like a creamy Italian.
Quick note,
You know-
say hi.
Hi.
Best waitress ever, by the way.
I do.
Definitely.
Do you want another coffee?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he still hasn't gotten his sip even.
Yeah, he gives me just a tiny little
All right,
bit
I'll bring
of
like a small cup on the side. Do you want
See,
another
this
soup?
is why she's
Can
awesome.
I get the chicken nuggets?
Gnocchi, and then you said minestrone. Do you want another chicken gnocchi?
Please.
And,
And then I'll leave that.
of course, all the
All the
breadsticks.
breadsticks. Absolutely.
Yeah, do that mixture of sauce for that, actually. That sounds
I'll grab a
awesome.
side of ranch for you.
Okay, thank you.
That actually sounds like a good idea, mixing the two sauces. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna need a better CPU. So so when it comes to rendering these videos now, that codec that wasn't working before on Vegas is now working.
Oh, that's good.
And the good thing is it's MP4, which is really important because in order to make this work on YouTube, I have to inject metadata to it, and it only injects onto MP4 and then one other codec type. And I normally use AVI with H.264, which people still don't get, and I'm like, trust me, it works. But the point is, it's a super CPU and heavy codec, which is ridiculous. But well, no, it's not ridiculous. It's actually that's the way it should be. But before I can even get it to Sony Vegas, I have to convert it to a different file type. And you remember the other 360 camera we had, the 360 Fly. I had to use the 360 Fly director to convert the file that this thing makes because this thing doesn't come with the software to convert it over to a proper file, which is just unfortunate.
So you gotta use the 365 software?
Yes, I use the 360 Fly software to take the video files from this so I can edit it on Sony Vegas to inject the metadata to upload it to YouTube.
You poor CPU.
I know my poor first-gen Core i7 is dying a slow, painful death.
Very nice.
Of course. Show the people what you've done.
You
You
do
bent
it.
the fork.
He's had it for 2 seconds and it's already
Oh,
destroyed.
we can't
I
trust.
just noticed
This
that,
is
Mike.
why we can't have nice things, Mike.
There's a couple of it.
Coffee? That's right. She's gonna give me a little tiny glass of it because you keep on hogging it.
I
But
don't know if it's just like one of these.
I mean, could be. I don't know. So the chicken gnocchi thing right here. What is the gnocchi?
Biscuit.
It's a biscuit. Oh,
Yes.
it's a darn good biscuit. I'll tell you what.
That's the bread.
Oh, you know what place we haven't been to in a while? Cracker Barrel.
Last I recall, I'm not a huge fan. I don't have an issue with it, just not a huge fan.
Not really big. Well, I mean, Cracker Barrel and Denny's menu is pretty similar.
Yeah.
I mean,
It might have been the atmosphere.
the only difference is, okay, Cracker Barrel, their, what else did I normally get? It's the country fried steak. They do it a lot better than Denny's does. Denny's just feels wrong for the country fried steak, but Cracker
Honestly,
Barrel does a really good job.
Technically speaking, I like country fried steak, but I've not really found a place where I like it at.
Really?
Yeah, the only place I've ever liked it at was at summer camp. Patty was an amazing cook, and she deserves the office upgrade she got.
I mean, a good cook can make the meanest of people happy. People get hangry sometimes. Josh. Man, okay, so
Josh is just angry.
here's one thing I don't understand. Grits. It's like, if you just eat grits straight by themselves, people down south will tell you, oh, that's not how you're supposed to eat grits. You got to mix it with this and that and that. And I'm like, well, what is grits? Why am I...
Isn't it part of the separated milk or something like that?
Dude, what? Okay, you know what? Mr. Southern American, all American, I drive trucks everywhere I go. Why don't you explain to me what grits are before he Googles it?
I think it's like a oatmeal.
An oatmeal?
Yeah, it's like an oatmeal.
That is the worst oatmeal I've ever had. Oh my gosh. Ugh.
We're gonna have all these comments like, "How do you not know what grits is?"
I mean, look, the only place that even serves grits around here in the Midwest is like Old Country Buffet.
Grits
What kind of
food
buffet is
made
not
from
around?
corn that is ground into a coarse meal and then boiled.
Well then.
So it's corn.
I do, okay, speaking of corn, cornbread. Cornbread is awesome, but it really depends on where you get it from.
Indeed.
I'm gonna grab this side of ranch. I kind of filled up my tray a little bit.
Because Old Country Buffet, or not, I'm sorry, bleh, blah, blah, blah.
I am really confused.
Yeah.
She brought my tea thing back, but it was hanging off the finger, so I'm assuming there's nothing in it, especially as it just took her about
Ah.
It's gonna get crowded.
Well, anywho, why?
Okay. That makes more sense. I saw you holding that one by the pinky and just like having a
Yeah,
dangle.
no,
I'm
there's
like,
no water in there. And then I'll bring back the side of the side of ranch and the iced coffee.
are you happy they changed it now?
Yes, I'm much more happy. But no, Cracker Barrel, their cornbread is really dry. Not for me. Oh, this looks good. I mean, look at the way it's even presented. It's. You don't have to do that. Put it back exactly where it was.
I'm wondering if it was the phone heating it up or the camera itself.
Sorry. Back to a fixed position. But anywho, no, it's the Cracker Barrel. Their cornbread is so dry. When I make it at home, it's nice and moist, and that makes a big difference because cornbread is really grainy. So if you don't get it just right, beans. Hot.
Water.
Hot.
Water?
Can't brain. It was too hot. Oh my god.
You didn't have to brain. We brained for you. Mike brained for you. How do you feel?
I feel violated. I let a bovine think for me. Holy crikey, Batman. Oh my gosh. Okay. That was slightly unexpected. I burned my tongue a little.
Are we lacking breadsticks?
We are lacking breadsticks.
Oh, heinous.
Oh my god. We need breadsticks.
Honestly, there's a lot of food items that have really weird bases. Like I found out what soy was the other day, and they literally just
It's people.
No, that's
Soylent Green is people.
Soylent Green is people. Soylent is
Zero.
hang on. Soylent Green is people. Soylent is just like pure minerals and such. And then you've got soy that's literally the byproduct of effectively spoiled soy milk that is then strained.
I want to point out, if something was just bare minerals, it would be a rock.
I mean, it comes in a powder form. You have to mix it with water.
That explains a lot.
So what's this green soil?
Soylent Green is something that's based off of a book. In the world, spoiler warnings for a book that's been out for like 2 decades plus.
Long time. They made a movie on it.
The movie's been out for like 2 decades.
Yeah, the movie is actually named something different than the book, though.
Yeah.
I think the movie is actually called Soylent Green.
Movies are always changed up from the books. Anyway, for your reference, as I said, spoilers. In the world, there's a population issue and a food shortage. In order to solve this, they take the most elderly, weakest people and grind them into food paste for the rest of the people.
Soylent Green is people. Does that make your food less appetizing all of a sudden?
I mean, it is green.
You want this on meat in this one?
This is all vegetables, man.
I mean,
I'm not usually a vegetable guy, but the minestrone is really good.
but yeah, in theory, Soylent Green would be a completely nutritious meal because it contains all elements that human needs to function. Simply because it is a human. Where it came from.
To be fair, there is one thing that is naturally occurring, that if a human were to eat it for the rest of their life, they wouldn't die, because it contains everything they need. That is human breast milk.
Actually, there's a little bit of a caveat in that I found out. Allergens. Allergens can be transferred through. So if, say, you lived off breast milk for the rest of your life, and you had a peanut
I haven't
allergy,
forgotten about the iced coffee. I swear. But the bartender's gotta make it.
I thought you said you make it.
I made the first two. She's back now, so now I gotta wait. So
Okay.
Who knows?
we'll figure out. Okay?
Fair enough. But yeah, so if you're allergic to, say, almonds, and she has too many almonds at some point, you would suffer an allergic reaction from her breast milk.
Okay, well, assuming that wasn't an issue, it is like the one thing that you can actually scientifically live off of if you ate nothing else.
You still need an extra inflow of water as well?
I don't think so. Something weird. It was talked about on, not SciShow, but, Vsauce. Vsauce.
Okay, I'll look it up later.
That's so quiet, Mike.
He's still stuck on Soylent Green.
He's silly.
Heads up, guys.
Was there two? Supposed to be two?
There was a small one for him.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah, no, he wants to try it and see if he likes it.
okay.
That's all.
Oh, look at the little baby cub.
I know. Oh, my wee little baby. Drinking me coffee in the morning.
And it has VeggieTales in them.
No, these are not VeggieTales. If this is VeggieTales, that is the worst knockoff of VeggieTales I've ever seen. This is what they put coffee in. This is, you know what, this is honestly hilarious. This is the last thing you want a child drinking, and it is in a chug cup, and I am just basically one gigantic man-child.
I mean, just look at his shirt.
I know, right? It's already got stains on it. I mean,
I've kept this top pure white for the past, 3 weeks.
with the help of Clorox bleach.
Haven't washed it.
Impossible.
I haven't washed it.
I don't believe you.
How, Sam?
Well, I've only worn it 3 days, but... No, 4. But... That's a huge assistance right there.
Not bad. Not bad. The fact that I'm getting it out of the off-brand sippy cup is hilarious, though.
That's not a sippy cup. It's a straw
Ollie
trainer cup.
the Olive. Okay, so this is Ollie the Olive, apparently. And Ricky Ravioli. Gina Grape.
Gina
Bean Breadstick.
Did you say
Tanya Tomato. This legit is a knock. This,
Where was the location where they had one of those bodysuits for something? I feel like it was a pizza place.
bodysuits for something. You're going to have to be more specific. I mean, a fighter jet pilot has a bodysuit.
No. The cartoon. No, maybe it was a pet store.
A puppy in the window?
You're on the right track, but someone said they had one. That they
Oh,
had.
IKEA.
No, Kia.
Yeah, Kia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I demanded that if anyone bought a car there, we get the hamster suit.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, sure, I can do that. We are totally getting a hamster suit, and I'm totally claiming it because I have a bunch of hamsters.
See, you have pet hamsters. I am going to be one with the hamster. See, what I want to do is I want to walk into Kia, just take one of the keys and drive away.
I feel so bad, though, for my hamster right now. I really do. I don't have SPG material, but...
Yeah, we're not going to go into that. Good. Actually, what other soup options do I got?
Soup tostada, which is the one he had first. It's got the potato, kale, and mild sausage. And pasta fagioli, which is kind of like a chili sauce.
Are they spicy?
Are you a weenie? The zupa might be a little spicy. It's zingy, like it's not spicy. It's just got like a like you put put in it like a jalapeno in the whole pot. You know, like a big vat. You put like one spicy bounce.
You know, I'm going to go back to that the chicken gnocchi.
Chicken gnocchi.
The gnocchi is a biscuit?
It's a dough ball.
It's a dough
It's a
ball.
potato dough ball.
I told you it was potato based.
Hey. I knew it was some kind of dough.
It's like a potato dumpling.
He said it was a biscuit.
And when like they're
I said it was a
raw, they're like
potato.
little balls, and you can like squish them down. And it's kind of
Okay, so we were
This-
both right and both wrong.
This
You're both
reinforces my theory that potatoes are the most versatile thing
Oh, yeah,
ever
no.
pursued.
alcohol, pasta. You can eat them regular.
I mean, potatoes, like,
Well, that-
okay, you got potato bread,
Yes.
you got french
There's potato.
fries, chips.
No,
Is there anything
yeah.
a potato
Yeah,
can't do?
thank you, Irish.
I just heard something about, except during the potato famine.
In the famine.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, you know the potato famine. I remember the great potato famine of
Half my family's actually
1972.
straight from Ireland. So.
Oh lordy. Are they a bunch of hotheads?
No.
There's
Only when
something.
it comes to potatoes.
My ex's family, they were all Irish. Oh my god. When they got mad, it was like you just wanted to get out of the house. Like,
I
Not really.
mean, his house he wants to get out of all the time anyway, so who knows?
that's family though.
Yeah, pretty much. Huh?
When my dad was little, so my family's Slovak. When both of me when my dad was little, he watched his grandma stab his grandpa. His grandpa came home drunk one night and
Whoa.
was like being kind of belligerent, and grandma started like yelling at him, coming home drunk, of course. And he kind of shoved her, and he's like 6 something, and grandma was like 5 foot.
I feel so bad for him.
He shoved her, and she didn't take nothing, and she grabbed a knife and just.
I don't.
She didn't kill him. She just hurt him.
I mean,
it hurt.
that's.
She knifed him. She didn't take. She didn't take it.
I mean, that's taking your life in your own hands.
Anyone who came from the area of the USSR or anywhere like surrounding neighborhood is just pure dangerous.
Old-fashioned European is just crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Lesser corporal punishment was originally, popularized. But you know what I love?
The kids come.
Yes, the fact that I've gotten a nice strong coffee and kids cook. This is the last thing you want a kid to have.
Some parents, they let them have it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some parents really must have good babysitter, or a bad one.
Oh, expensive
Happening
one.
our child, and then
If I had to pay $30 an hour to a babysitter, I would guarantee there'd be coffee involved for you.
Let me just give this kid a sugar high real quick. Like, I'm going to make you work for your own.
You're like, okay, when they crash, they're gonna crash hard, but they won't crash until you're gone. You're gonna. I'm gonna deal with the crash.
I'll deal
You're
with it
gonna
when
deal
I'm, like, tired
with
to death,
like
done.
You just tell the babysitter,
Well,
yeah, go ahead, give him this chocolate milk.
it's not actually chocolate.
Yeah, just have it be coffee.
Did you see the toddler tamers? They're like the leg weights for the children. It's so I understand.
Oh
the
my
principle.
God, what?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
so like with horses, they're called hobbles, and you like put them on their legs and they can't run away. Like they can only take little steps.
Yeah.
Well, somebody came up with that idea for children, like, oh, I don't want my kid to run away. So they're called toddler tamers, and they're like leg weights, but they're not connected in the center because you can't hobble your children. Anyway, so imagine being the parent that like puts these toddler tamers on their kid and then takes them off one day. Like now you have
Okay.
a child that has
Now they
never
become
skipped.
Honda,
Yeah.
the Street Fighter.
You have a child that has
Okay.
never skipped leg day. Like good luck catching them.
Oh, no, it has both
my
better
mom
and
actually did
worse
that to
things.
me.
Because I actually did train with leg weights like that.
As a little kid,
Not as a little kid,
I was gonna
but
say, wait a minute.
Well, you know the answer to the leg weight thing is you see the toddler leash.
yeah.
Backpacks.
Yeah.
Like they connect the kids to a leash now. Like what is
When
going
we-
on?
But the dogs go in strollers.
Yes.
Yeah.
We so down by us we pick a blueberry farm, and it's really easy to lose a child out there. So when my best friend and I used to go blueberry picking, we would take a dog leash and do it like backwards. So we'd loop the legal part through his belt loops and then hook it to ourselves so he could like just unhook himself and run away. So we would do that because if you lose him out there, he's probably gone. Like he
Yeah.
belongs to the field.
He now is the children of the
Yeah,
corn.
he is the child of the blueberries. So, like, I get it in some circumstances if it's a good idea, but, like, if you're just walking with your kid, like, what are you doing?
Especially like in the mall, it's like, or Walmart. Like, I guarantee there's going to be something like that in Walmart. They probably sell that at Walmart.
I saw one woman. You know those the dog leashes that have that goes this long distance, and then you go.
Yep, you can, like, stop them, like, wind
Yeah.
them back.
Yeah, I watched this one
Well, I mean,
woman
like,
do that to a kid.
It's
It was
kind of genius. Like,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you want them to let them explore, and sometimes you don't.
and it was one of the strong ones for like big dogs too.
How about we just get like GPS ankle bracelets so you can take them your phone out?
The
All right.
children, not
yeah,
prisoners.
They're kids, not prisoners.
But isn't a child just basically authorized prison? You gotta wake up,
Only to
you gotta work at school,
That's being-
and not get paid.
That's gotta be an adult. Except we
Now,
get paid.
here's the difference.
You have to give in to the man all the time.
As we're saying though, with those leg weights, that can actually mess up your knees real bad. So they might be able to run, or they might not be able to move
Or you
anyway.
mess with their legs.
Yeah. If they can move though, yeah, good luck.
But now, congrats, you're now chasing after your kid that's never skipped leg day.
When I
And they
was,
can get heavier, like, as they grow up. Like, as they, like, overcome them, you can make them heavier.
yeah, like
Did you really think that, like, in concept, it's a
They had
really
them in the
good
early
idea.
90s.
But she didn't think that.
I got up to, I want to say it was 10 pounds per leg, and that was more or less the peak. I take them off at whatever point of the day, and I've been on stairs all my life, so it sounds dumb, but I'm really good on stairs. After taking off the weights, I could fly up the steps, going 4 steps at a time. At that point, you aren't actually even walking up the steps.
I have become
You are
Super
jumping.
Saiyan.
You are legitimately off the ground completely at one point or another, every step.
Yeah.
It's also
It's
really
interesting
cool.
to watch.
Not gonna lie, it's really cool to be going upstairs and go up an entire flight of stairs in 3 steps up.
You don't feel like you're, like, running up the stairs.
Oh no.
Like, it's kind of
Like, I wasn't even winded.
nice.
Yeah, we'll just put you in the Empire State Building, or
Do you like
a little
the stair
tower.
challenge? How they have, like, the races up the stairs?
Oh
You're
man,
also
that is torture.
You're also talking to the guy who tried to walk to Florida.
Yeah,
It might have failed, but I still tried.
Oh yeah, that was you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You made
this
it, what, 50
dipwad tried to
miles?
walk to Florida.
What?
You made what, 50 miles?
All together, I was out by 125 or so. But the only reason it fell through is because my backpack broke. I ended up with 3 bruises this big on each side of my front hips and on the small of my back.
The backpack.
Yeah. And, I've got 3 liver-sized bruises going around my waist. I'm not moving much
Yeah,
more.
we're not doing this. Like, it's not happening.
Well, a couple days later, it's like, yeah, I'm back in town. What?
I came back.
Why were you even trying to get to Florida?
Had nothing better to do. My grandma lives down there. So I had to
Show up
destiny.
like, hey girl, I walked.
Yeah, I mean, I was unemployed. My mom didn't need me for anything.
Hey, you know those stories? I'm sorry to interrupt, but you know those stories our parents give us? Back when I was your kid, we used to walk 10 miles to school and 4 feet of snow,
Did you
front
see the
and
little
back.
Chinese kid? Go ahead, I'll catch you after.
No, but it's like, okay, this guy walked 100 some odd miles just because he wanted to get to Florida. Are you Forrest Gump? Or you just keep running it?
If I was Forrest Gump, I would have made it.
Oh my
Yeah, no, I'm
god.
gonna grab you another. You said no
Right.
key. Do you want another soup on?
Yeah, no. You bring up the walk both ways uphill in the snow. There's actually a little Chinese kid who had to walk through below freezing no, not Chinese. Taiwan?
I don't know, but
One of the Asians.
screen turned off.
No, I know, but I got the icon right here that tells me it's still recording.
Oh, okay.
Yep, don't worry, I've been keeping an eye on it.
I'm like, we didn't do that last night.
Yeah, so
No, don't worry, it's fully charged and I'm going to record.
there's a little kid who braved the cold just to get to school. A school that doesn't even have heating. And there's a picture of him with, you know how like hands can get dark from the cold and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so his hands are all like frostbitten looking and nasty. And his hair literally just has streaks of white from frost in it. And it just looks so bad on so many levels. So some people traced him down because internet, they do that. And that school and he has received over $15,000 in donations between coats, heaters, and just flat money. Also, is your phone on vibrate or silent proper? Because it just received something, so the vibrate would probably, yeah.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Yeah, it was just a thought. It's probably going to affect sound somewhere, so. Sorry.
Anyway, back to the food.
Wasn't originally my plan, though.
We understand that. Yeah, why aren't you recording, Andrew?
Aren't I recording? What are you talking about, Willis?
Isn't your phone recording audio?
Because we got nothing else to record. I will say this though.
You can't record in stereo?
Is that possible?
Yes.
Actually, yes. But we have to figure out a setup for that exactly. You can do it with 2 audio sources. I'd have to figure out how to do it on the software. I think I can do it. I can have one left.
Nothing else, just use Audacity or something and toss the 2 on a single file and it will combine.
Nevertheless, it should be okay. So what sauce did you get? Did you get the mixture of ranch and something else?
It's pretty good.
Where'd you get those people?
It was so weird trying to eat with this fork.
Then grab a different one. I mean, you literally have another salad fork.
I know.
If you don't like that, I'm not using either of mine.
It's funny, when you said salad fork, I thought you said Stata fork.
Yes, it's totally a data transfer fork.
Data transfer fork. Well, you're transferring DNA into your body, technically.
Don't
So that's
reveal
the
our
nice thing about this.
secrets.
If we were trying to do this with a 365, we couldn't make it work easily.
No?
Remember, it has a magnetic charging base.
Oh, yeah. You know how much the screen costs for the Xeon 7? It's like $150.
doesn't make quite much sense considering that
When a
to send
brand
it in.
new iPhone 7 Plus screen is $50.
I mean,
Well, here's the thing. If you send it in to ZTE, it's $70 to have them work on it.
there can be a lot of factors to it.
I think you're getting more than just a screen. I think you're getting a digitizer and some other cables. When you showed me what that is, that's more than just a screen.
But iFixit doesn't have the screen.
iFixit doesn't have everything.
You can't have everything in the actual
Anything
7.
Apple related they have.
Well, ZTE is much more obscure than Apple in this country. Now, in China, ZTE is much bigger.
So check a Chinese site.
Yeah.
But you can buy the battery for iPhones. You can buy the battery. You can buy. I think it was a new hard drive.
Why would you buy a battery for iPhone when you can get it replaced right now for $27?
Do you know this?
That is a good question.
I can go.
I guess I'll try.
You want to do another one?
I'll try.
But, yeah, they changed that after the whole battery fiasco thing.
Yeah, no.
Which, you know what, honestly speaking, I can understand why they did it. But the fact they didn't inform the people about it is what caused the backlash.
And
I mean-
everything was started by a 17-year-old.
Honestly, this should have been found out
Yeah.
ages ago.
The whole thing was started by a 17-year-old.
Really?
Yeah.
On Reddit?
I don't know.
I forget the source, but basically someone asked for benchmarks before and after some stuff, and he just kind of went, okay, yeah, sure, why not? And noticed the change, had a bunch of other people test it, and away it went.
You know what's funny? Remember the Antutu best benchmarks? Like all the Android phones were up on the top, except for the top 2 were like Apple phones.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder where they stand now with their batteries degraded, comparatively speaking.
It'd be interesting to see how much degradation of performance. It'd be hard to see because, I mean, you'd have to kill the battery a lot faster than normal. Like,
I would just take someone whose battery is old and hasn't replaced it yet.
I mean, batteries age at different rates, though. Between how they're used, how they're charged.
Well, let's put things into perspective here. They now have wireless charging. That destroys batteries.
Well, they have 2 different types of wireless charging, actually. One of which destroys battery, which is the more common option.
Well, here's the thing, though. Both of them heat up the phone. And heating up the battery is not good for the battery.
I haven't heard anything on heating on the other one, but who knows.
Well, I know one is induction-based.
Yeah, induction-based does most certainly heat up the phone. The other one is RF-based. And that's
Both of them are going to generate some heat, at least.
I mean, you're throwing power into something, of course you're going to make some heat.
Okay. Thank you. My general complaint about wireless charging is why? Okay, here's the
For
deal.
the consumer market, it's not so useful, but for stores, that'd be great.
Okay, for stores, okay, maybe, but everyday use. Oh, well, I'm going to put my phone here, and now I can't move it, otherwise I'll stop charging. But if you have a cable, oh, look at this, I can move my phone around, and I can do stuff with it. Wow, it's charging. Ooh, it's also charging via a cable is more power efficient.
Well, there's people. Hold on, Sam. There's people like my coworker that has a phone with no warranty on it, and the charging port on their phone is broken. So they use the wireless charging to charge their phone.
No, that's where you break the cord and plug it straight to the battery.
He won't do that.
Why not? It's perfectly safe. Works the same way.
Does it really?
Yeah, actually it does.
I thought the phone
It's a
regulated.
Samsung. It's
It
the
has a
Galaxy
regulation.
S7.
Think of the...
Why is it not a Note 7?
I actually have a coworker that has one.
Think of the regulation as the regulation in the phone as like a surge protector type deal. It's more of that than anything.
Our HR department found out about it, that they had the Note 7. And they said, oh yeah, you gotta keep that in your car.
Well, it's more likely to explode. That's nice of them.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, you got a point. It's going to heat up or get frozen.
Yeah. But,
They just don't want to burn down the building.
I mean, I can appreciate that, especially since it's a paper mill.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is,
You thought
there
that
was
fire
only
was
like
on fire.
5 instances of a Note 7 burning. And they were called like millions.
I mean, realistically, every new electronic, it seems, has an overheating issue.
Hoverboards.
Yeah. Everything from the 360 on, pretty much. But here's the real fun fact about it. It didn't start at the 360. By the time we had the 360, we had enough internet access and enough people on the internet that was able to go viral. And I use that term loosely as, viral back then was a little different.
I mean, the original Xbox used to catch fire due to a cord issue.
The original Xbox did. Even the N64, which people claim as one of the most durable ones out there, had heating issues in its first run. But
I didn't know that.
there was no news coverage on it whatsoever because it wasn't a big deal. Gaming wasn't a thing yet.
Shocking statement to make, good sir.
Well, I mean, gaming almost died. Thanks to Atari, I think?
I mean, look at Dreamcast.
Well, no, not even that.
It was Atari.
Yeah, because they came out with a bunch of lackluster games, and then they came out with E.T. Literally one of the worst games ever.
Yes, we all know. E.T. for Atari was a total flop.
Yeah,
But it did lead to regulations and it forced companies to put some scrutiny. Well, if we're going to talk about gaming, there's a lot of stuff in the industry going on right now that is utter garbage. But
like Fortnite is basically the same thing as, say, the Forest or something else.
there's a lot to be
No Man's
said.
Sky?
That's a conversation in itself. Let's get back to the heart of the situation here, which is honestly the fear.
Simple stuff.
Oh yeah. It's like
It's
corn
type.
syrup.
No.
Huh?
It's
It's not like high fructose corn syrup?
okay. So you know what brine water is?
Yeah, it's like salty water.
Yeah, that's the sugar version of it.
Oh.
For your reference, since you seem to still have a confused face, brine water is you take water, throw a bunch of salt in it, make sure it's good and mixed, let it sit for a bit, throw more salt in it, make sure it's good and mixed, rinse and repeat until it's got like maximum salt capacity.
Yeah. You know where brine shrimp come from? It's like, okay,
The saltiest part of the world.
let me
Savory.
explain it to you in a term you might understand. Fresh water, brackish water, salt water, brine water. Okay.
More or less, anyway.
So, okay, she brought out like an entire case of tea, like as if it was some sort of magnificent box. That's specifically for the most high class of high rollers. What tea
Maybe I
did
am a high roller.
What tea did you get?
Orange peach herbal.
Okay, that was. You need to re-say that because I don't know what you just said.
Orange, peach, herbal, tea.
Okay, there's an orange, peach, purple.
I thought that too.
Oh, that's my hair color.
No, I thought you said that too, but then I read the package, like, oh, okay, you said
cheated.
herbal.
Cheater.
Oh, well.
Cheater.
I cheat in Grand Theft Auto 5.
He admits it. Ban him from the server. Ban him.
And I don't do it in the local server. I don't do it online. I do it just in the regular video game itself, the story mode.
Ban him from the story mode.
You can't do that.
Rockstar. You can do anything nowadays.
Well, Rockstar did want to ban any mods, even in streamer player.
Not only that, but seeing as how Steam forces you to do an update and check on your system whenever you go to
Verify the
some,
integrity of the cache.
they can actually ban you from single player games.
Mm-hmm. If it breaks the EULA agreement.
Really?
Yeah. In theory, they could. It wouldn't.
Technically, at one point, not long ago, when you bought a game, you don't own the game. You own the right to use their license
Yeah.
to play the game,
That
but
used to
you
be
don't
hardware,
own the
but not
game.
no more. They fixed the hardware side of it. Did it fix
Yeah,
the
it was
software
very
side of
shady stuff. So they could basically take the game away after you paid for it.
Honestly,
Can they still do that?
some places maybe, but it's a lot tougher even if they can. Honestly, the best anti-theft protection I've ever seen in a video game? It actually came from an MS-DOS game. And in order to verify that you were a proper owner of the game, it would ask you for a particular word and a particular page, particular line, etc., from the manual that came with the game.
So it means you could not lose that manual for shit.
Correct. And it never asked for the same one again and again. It literally had the entire manual in it, or, like piecemeal of it. And it had half a dozen different questions where you're just like, check page 45, line 3, word 5. What word is this? And if you couldn't answer,
I mean, that's clever. But nowadays, you could just Google what's the PDF file for the manual. I'm sure someone scanned it and uploaded it if they're going to pirate it.
I'm sure, but still, it's,
Well, back then.
yeah, like I said, this is DOS times.
Well, back then we didn't have save states for our video games or save points. We had level codes, like in Gex. You would type in a code and give you two new
We had
level.
some games.
I actually had a
no.
racing game for the PlayStation 2.
No, we had save games. DOS games had save games.
Did they?
Yeah. PC
okay.
games did.
Yes,
Consoles
PC.
didn't.
Yeah. Okay. I will admit that because Mega Race. First game I ever played when I was 2 years old. First game I ever played. Mega Race.
I had a bunch of learning company games.
I had a
Rest in
PS2 and
peace.
one of my racing games was like,
There were a hand. Wait, PS2.
yeah,
That's not old.
I know.
No,
And
we're
they
talking.
gave you codes so you could get back to your
Okay, yeah, no, like that was roughly the turning point. That's why,
PS2 was.
give or take. Like the PS1 is what started it, but it didn't really kick off. till
Well,
after.
when memory cards became affordable,
Yeah, quote unquote. $25 for 8 megs.
I know that was a big deal.
That was back then.
But
So
yeah, no, and a lot of people don't realize that even in the DOS days, we had piracy of games. That did not change. That has not been a difference.
Now, how do you pirate a game in DOS back when it was just DOS?
The World Wide Web did not exist the way we know it. The Internet has existed far longer than that. And they have been trading movies and games and every other form of media.
remember
just like they-
LimeWire
Mm-hmm.
and Napster?
No, don't forget Frostwire.
Frostwire came after LimeWire. It was funny, after LimeWire got the boot, Frostwire came around.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing, it's just a different color.
Yeah, it was literally just a different theme. I never actually used any of them for very long because shortly after I found out you can use Google and a few proper keywords into it, and it literally gives you the same results. Like you can literally choose to use Google to spiderweb the internet for open documents on other people's computers.
What?
Yeah,
Oh.
Whoa. What?
There's something that's a little mildly concerning.
What are you
yeah.
guys doing over here?
I think I am finished. What about you guys?
Finished?
No, right?
Not gonna get much more in me.
Can we get some breadsticks to go?
Yeah, I can do that.
Awesome.
But yeah, no. So you can use Google like that. People really underestimate the power of Google. Even now, as it's being pruned by Google and some other legal companies, it's still far more potent than people give it credit for.
Shit.
Like,
Oh.
well, here, let me ask you something. How many different types of Google are there?
What?
I mean, if you want just the numbers, I know all the numbers of Google, but
No. The types of Google.
types of Google.
Google, as in the Google search, mind you, not Google the number.
What? Hold on.
I'm not feeling lucky.
Hold on.
Let's put it like that.
There are different types of Google.
Apparently,
Yeah.
do tell.
The fun ones are Hacker Google that literally just throws everything in leet code.
And what code?
Leet. So E's are now like 3s, A's are 4s, random crap like that.
Okay, but what about something useful?
Scholarly Google. Scholar.google.com allows you to search for things that have only been peer reviewed for scientific research.
I wish more people did that when it comes to vaccines.
Tell me about it. However, I will point out a lot of those things don't actually give a side. They simply lay out a handful of facts, half of which are saying there's inconclusive information.
I think information should be neutral. It shouldn't be motivated on any side.
No. Like, okay, I was actually just reading up on this again.
The caffeine is just starting to hit my head.
I told you. See, I told you.
Just started.
Who is it? FCC that deals with that? No, FDA? Yeah, FDA. They don't classify, and I don't disagree with this, but I'm just stating it as it's on the paper. The FDA does not classify vaccines as toxic. As such, they have never actually run a toxicity report. So despite all the ingredients not being toxic, we have no idea if the mixture of ingredients is or is not.
That is an interesting thing. But
So someone gets a toxicity report of the vaccine and then posts their results.
It has to be peer reviewed, however, in order to count for much.
So peer reviewing is a very important process. But on that dramatic revelation, this is where we end our little session. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Thank you for joining us if you actually stuck with us.
Hey,
And you know what? We'll end every video like that. Cheers.